All right, let's talk about a fascinating paradox that's happening right now at the very heart of high finance. Generative AI is completely changing how hedge funds work, making them way faster and more efficient. But here's the catch, it's not actually making them any more money. So, what on earth is going on?
This is the central mystery we're going to unravel today. It's a question that some of the biggest investment firms are pouring billions of dollars into answering. And you know what? The solution tells us a whole lot about what AI can really do and where its limits are in the world of finance. So, let's get into it.
To really get to the bottom of this, we have to start with the good news. And when it comes to the day to day grind of running a hedge fund, generative AI isn't just a small improvement, it's an absolute revolution. Okay, so this part isn't even up for debate. Hedge funds have jumped on these new tools to automate a massive number of tasks that used to eat up endless hours of their smartest people's time. And you can see the impact here is just huge. We're talking about everything from automating research, like imagine summarizing these super dense financial filings in just a few seconds, to helping their quantitative analysts, their quants, write and debug complex code at lightning speed. And internally, these AI tools can sift through a fund's entire history of research, decades of it, in an instant. Even boring stuff like drafting reports for investors has become so much faster, so much more streamlined. So the bottom line here is a massive boost in just pure operational efficiency. It lets these firms do way more without hiring more people, and it frees up their best analysts to focus on the big picture stuff, actually coming up with winning investment ideas. But this is where our story takes a very interesting turn.
And that turn brings us to the other side of our paradox. Because for all these amazing efficiency gains, funds are slamming into what we're calling the alpha wall. Now, alpha, if you're not familiar, is just the industry's fancy term for returns that beat the market. It's the holy grail, it's what every single investor is chasing, and so far, AI just isn't delivering it.
Here's the absolute core of the problem. Generative AI is an expert on the past. That's what it is. It's been trained on unbelievable amounts of existing information to do things like summarize text and spot patterns that have already happened. But the financial markets, they don't reward you for knowing the past. They reward you for predicting the future, for understanding cause and effect, and for having brand new ideas that nobody else has thought of yet. And this fundamental mismatch leads to four major hurdles. First off, AI is great at probabilities, but it's not truly creative, so it can't come up with a genuinely original investment thesis. Second, summarizing is one thing, but finding that one tiny predictive signal in an ocean of noisy data, that's a whole different, much harder challenge. Third, and this is a big one, if all the hedge funds are using the exact same AI tools, then nobody has an edge, right? The advantage disappears. And finally, finance is a super heavily regulated industry. You can't just have a black box AI making multi-billion-dollar investment decisions without being able to explain exactly why. Now, this might all sound brand new, but here's the thing. We've kind of seen this movie before. And this brings us to a really useful analogy that puts this whole situation into perspective. Just think back to when spreadsheets first came out. They were a revolutionary leap forward in productivity, a lot like generative AI is today. But just because your firm bought a copy of Lotus 123 didn't automatically mean you were going to be the next Warren Buffett. No way. The real advantage, the alpha, came later, as people figured out how to build this amazing new tool into their core investment strategies. So if today's AI is basically the new superpowered spreadsheet, that begs the question, how do hedge funds get from just being more productive to actually being more profitable? Well, the leading firms are already working on this with a three-part playbook. First, they're building hybrid models that combine the raw power of large language models, LLMs, with the specialized custom financial models they've spent years developing. Second, they're feeding these AI models their own private, proprietary data, stuff like internal research notes, private memos, things nobody else on the outside can see. And third, they're very carefully bringing AI into their decision-making, using it to spark new ideas that are then rigorously checked and ultimately approved by their human experts. In all of this, it points directly to the solution to our paradox. The future of investing isn't about choosing between humans or machines. It's about creating a powerful new partnership, the human plus machine edge. Let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. AI by itself is not the answer. It is an unbelievably powerful tool, maybe the single greatest productivity booster we have ever seen. But it is not a magic wand for beating the market. So here is the key takeaway from all this. The real, lasting advantage in the market is going to come from combining the raw processing power of AI with the skills that are, for now, still uniquely human. We're talking about genuine insight, a deep grasp of cause and effect, and good old-fashioned creativity. The goal isn't to replace human investors, it's to supercharge them.
And so we end with the question that is probably going to shape the next decade of finance. Can a machine that is fundamentally designed to learn from the past ever truly outsmart a market that is always, always betting on the future? The firms that crack that code, well, those are going to be the ones to watch. Thanks for joining us.